All right, y'all, welcome back. So first things, I know at the end of the last video, I said we were gonna talk about the engine for the truck. I decided to wait, that'll be in the next video. I was waiting on a couple of parts for the engine and I just wanna have all that together when I do that video for y'all. But I'm here with Chewy, Paint by Chewy. Be sure to go follow this man. They did all the paint work on the truck for me. So he works here with Buffalo Customs. So Buffalo Customs did some body work and then Chewy knocked out all the paint work. So the truck was already painted this color, but it had a lot of like little issues.
Imperfections.
Yeah, we converted to the Chevrolet front end and you paint matched this. Repainted the hood, which this came out really, really good. Painted the hood top and bottom. We did a paint matched smooth finish front bumper, all new headlights. The emblem here is probably one of my favorite things. So this is an aluminum emblem I found from somebody on eBay, and Chewy painted this two-tone, and he didn't even mask that, which is kind of cool. So you were telling us that you actually just painted it all
painted
black,
a couple
right?
a couple steps to it, but yeah, no tape black.
Yeah. What else do we do? Oh, we did the SS mirrors.
Paint to match mirrors.
Yep. Shaved the antenna, which is just like a really nice kind of subtle touch that we did here. And I think it really cleans it up. Chewy also re-cleared the whole front end of the truck after he shaved the antenna. So both fenders, right, got re-cleared?
Yeah, the whole front end.
Yep. And the hood, which you buried this thing and cleared. Yeah. This thing looks amazing.
Also the roof too.
Yep, the roof. So we had a couple issues with the roof, some dry spots. So you did that. Door jams and the back sides of the doors, you did those. All new pins, hinges. And then I guess the other thing would just be, I guess the rear, right, was the other thing that you guys did. So, oh, you repainted the cab corners on both sides because I scratched them up when I did this E350 rear bumper, and the bumper came out awesome. So I really, really like how the bumper turned out. We still have to paint the tailgate, so don't beat us up about our pinstripe not lining up right now. The truck was like that when I got it, but once we get this onto the chassis and we make sure everything's squared up, then Chewy will take this and paint it so we make sure all the pinstripes line up. And then one other thing, I had him paint the door handles and the tailgate handle gray. So instead of being black, I think it just kind of blends in more. So yeah, that's kind of it. I mean, be sure, like I said, follow him on Instagram at Paint by Chewy. I'll be sure to drop a link in the description. He does custom work, collision work, insurance work.
Collision, work with all insurances, custom, pretty much anything that has to do with paint.
Yeah. I mean, this dude has a way bigger following than we do. He's always posting like amazing reels of paint work and stuff that he's done, and we really appreciate him jumping on board and being part of this project. They did kind of buff it, and then once the truck is done, he'll probably go over it again, touch things up, because inevitably when we move things over, we'll probably, we're gonna try not to scratch anything, but we might scratch a couple things. So, but anyways, so that kind of does it for the paint work, and I'm gonna take y'all and show you guys the frame that we just got back from powder coating as well. All right, so my wife, who's actually filming this, had a great idea to ask Chewy, how did you get into doing paint work?
Well, my uncle used to work on hot rods, like a lot of hot rods and stuff, so I would help him out there. But then eventually I went to UTI.
Okay.
And I went there for a course where you really don't learn much, but then I learned out in the field, really hands-on. Okay. Yeah.
So like what age, I guess, were you when you first kind of started painting with your uncle?
That was probably, 15, 16.
Okay.
And then out when I became a painter at a shop, probably 20.
All right.
20. I'm 37 now, so yeah, probably like 17 years.
Okay.
Experience.
Yeah, you've been doing it. I mean, that's a long time to do anything. So obviously you've kind of like perfected your
and I'm still learning now, but I mean, you learn every day. But yeah, I got it pretty much down.
Yeah.
Real
good.
And
I know one thing, like, I don't know a ton about paint and body, but I know like your equipment makes a big difference. And I've seen even in some of your videos where people will comment, like probably other painters, but they'll comment about like some of the spray guns you use.
I use
so what's kind of like your go-to? What's kind of your go-to?
For base sealer, I use Sada 5500, like the newest model they have. And for clear, Iwata for like overalls and stuff, overall paint jobs, and I switched back to the Seda 5500 RP as well. It's just depends on the job,
So
but both are great guns.
yeah, I mean, obviously they
Yeah.
seem like they do a really good job. So for everybody watching this that thinks you're going to go to Harbor Freight and buy a paint gun, which you can.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
because sometimes like painters hit me up and they have the same gun and they don't get the same results. Sometimes I mean, it's the person behind the
Settings
gun,
has a lot to do with
yeah.
it.
Because
Yeah.
I could use a cheap gun and make it look good. You got to work with the gun.
Yeah.
The better guns make it a lot easier if
So-
you know what you're doing.
Like the paint guns you use, what does something like that cost though? Just to give somebody an idea of the difference.
Like $850 to like $1250.
Okay.
Yeah, per
All right.
gun. And then you got the regulator and all that.
And is that something where you have to replace it fairly often, or
I
just
try to keep up with the newest technology they have. So every like 4 to 5 years they come out with new guns.
Okay,
and,
so you're
and I
definitely-
have multiple guns. I probably have like 10, 12 guns.
Yeah.
that are in my cycle.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah.
But you're definitely getting a pretty good lifespan out
Yeah,
of
yeah,
it.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then you just maintenance them and take care of them like anything else, and they'll last you forever.
That's very cool.
But yeah.
So, well, very cool. Yeah, we just Vanessa had the idea to learn a little bit more about like your history and
Yeah.
And so did you kind of start in collision?
Yeah, I was at a collision at a Mercedes shop actually. I like Mercedes, so I got into there actually as a body man helper.
Okay.
And it was really slow then. They were gonna actually fire me because it was slow.
Uh-huh.
So they were like, hey, they need a helper in the paint department, and that's when it all started.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I worked my way all the way from the bottom all the way up.
Very cool. Well, that's
Yeah.
cool too, because then you kind of understand body work, right? You
Yeah,
have
yeah.
some understanding of that and what goes into it. And then I guess before you're going to paint something, it gives you a good eye of like, you could tell if the body work
Yeah,
was
you kind of
done-
know
was
what's gonna
done well.
fly, what's not gonna fly, and what's gonna look good or not. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
But
Do you
yeah.
have like a favorite project you've done? Or one that like stood out to you?
Yeah, I did a full color change on a McLaren. I'm not sure what model it was, but it was brand new, and we did it from black to like a matte green. And it was a full color change on the car. Took it all apart and did that. And that one was, I liked it because everybody thought it was a wrap until they were like, "Oh shit, it's paint."
Yeah.
And I mean, it's hard. It's hard to do that, yeah, because not a lot of people are taking that car apart like that and then doing a matte job. And yeah, I think that one.
So did you disassemble it and reassemble it, or did you
I
have? Like,
did all
body-
the paint work. Yeah, I did
Okay.
all the paint work, but yeah, to do a matte car is real difficult because the way it comes out, that's the way it is. There's
Yeah.
no buffing
Exactly.
allowed on that because you buff it, it starts to shine. So
You better PPF it. 'Cause
Yeah.
If you scratch it, it's like
yeah, so
you-
yeah,
you
that one
gotta
was
repaint
really,
the whole panel.
really, really cool. That one.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'll have to get a photo of that and we'll drop it in
Yeah,
this
yeah,
so
yeah.
people could see it. So
Yeah.
you've done a lot of like really nice cars,
Mhm.
but yeah, I didn't know that you had done a McLaren. That's pretty neat.
That's probably the one that like I'm proudest. But there's a lot. There's
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of them. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, if you guys go to his Instagram, there's a purple 3rd gen Camaro that you painted that was like
Yeah, yeah. That
beautiful,
one,
beautiful car.
House of Color paint, and that one actually's got the most views that I've ever had on that one. That one's real nice too.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
beautiful car
Yeah,
for
you do
sure.
Really nice work.
Yeah.
So, yep. So, and you're gonna be doing some work for my
Yeah.
wife's car too.
Yeah, we got
So,
a Porsche coming up. So
Yep.
yeah.
for sure. So, all right, man. Well, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right, y'all. So we got the chassis picked back up from the powder coating place, and they were able to knock this out really fast, which was awesome. And I just got over here to my buddy's place, so we're gonna get this thing unloaded and get it back into a roller, and I'll kind of go over the chassis, show you guys some of the powder coating and all that once we get it off the trailer here. All right, so we got this thing unloaded. We ended up actually turning it around because the more we thought about it, once we go to assemble it, it'll be better to have the front of the chassis towards the front of the shop here. But yeah, the place I took this to, it's called Alamo Crosslink Powder Coating. I was referred to them by a couple people because they were one of the few places that had a oven big enough to fit this in there. And they did a really good job. And they knocked it out in 3 days, like I said, sandblasted it and got it all powder coated. We just did satin black, which I think looks really, really good. And they did all the miscellaneous parts that get bolted to the chassis as well. We're gonna get all the suspension put back on this thing. All right, so we just finished getting the chassis back into a roller. Everything went pretty good. There was a couple just small areas where the powder coat was a little bit thick, like on like the shock mounts and a few other places. These are some dummy coilovers I bought from I think Speedway Motors, which right now I don't have the springs because I'm having the color on the springs changed. So these actually worked out really good for mounting for now, you know, for temporary use. And then we don't have the rear diff is not in, as you can see. I've got to change the gears in that, so I got to take it to somebody that can do that. My buddy Robbie's going to help with that. But yeah, everything's looking really good. It looks awesome, like with everything powder coated satin black. And big thanks to Hayden over there for helping me with getting this back together. So we're going to call it a day here. All that, get the motor set in, transmission set in. We got to get the cab on though to finalize placement of the motor and transmission, and then probably build the exhaust. Fuel tank is getting built, so that should be done in a couple of weeks, and then we'll have to figure out as far as routing brake lines and fuel lines once the cab is on. So gonna call it a day here, and we'll check back in with you guys another day.